Hello there and welcome to my Arty Corner here on YouTube. I'm Angela Porter and amongst other things I draw. And before I start, I'd just like to say thank you to everybody for bearing with me in the past week. I hurt my shoulder last Monday, or I hurt my back, bottom of my shoulder, pulled a muscle or something, and to say I've been in excruciating pain for a lot of the time is true. This was Monday, now Sunday the 20th of November, and I've actually been able to draw. So I thought I'd come on because I haven't drawn for nearly a week. I haven't held a pen for nearly a week. And so I'm desperate to draw, but I know from past experience, if I don't draw, I become a bit rusty, like all of us will, because I'm not using my hand-eye coordination and my muscles. And of course, I'm going to have to sit in a different way to look after my back. And I'm actually working on a drawing table kind of here, which holds the paper at an angle, and I'm actually sat quite low on my chair so that my arm is up, because I'm going to have to learn to sit more with a better posture, I think, when I'm creating art anyway. But just trying to take the pressure off my muscle, which still hurts, don't get me wrong, but at the moment I'm comfortable. I'm actually sat without fidgeting in pain, which I was doing just a couple of hours ago. So either the painkillers have kicked in or something's happened to benefit the muscle. So, as I say, thank you so much for bearing with me. I never expected that, even sat typing and, things. I've seen an awful lot of cooking on YouTube, amongst other things, the last few days, I have to say. Yeah, I'll be glad when I can cook again. Can't cook. I can cook, but I can't cook because it hurts. Anyway, so what you can see in front, so this is going to be a strange angle because everything is a bit weird for me at the moment, so I'm going to have to find out new ways of doing things. I've got a piece of paper here. This one is, I think, oh gosh, well, it's 25.5 centimetres by 18 centimetres. I've got the book. I did have the book here that it came from. And so it's quite a big piece of paper for me. Huge if you're used to working on the Zentangle tiles. Yeah, 10 by 7.5-ish inches. And it is Ohuhu marker paper. So, and it's really thick and sturdy. And I've just got an Emot fine pen here, Everfine, from uni. It's got a sturdy plastic nib that I actually have trouble wrecking, which is of great interest to me. But I'm just going to do some drawing exercises or some things just to get my hand-eye back in. And I thought it might be fun if I share this with you. So I'm just going to start by drawing over here. Try and stay on screen as well while I do this. I'm just going to draw some circles-ish. And I'm going to draw some concentric circles. And I might just draw another one. I say concentric, they're not perfectly concentric, but I've left little gaps between them like this because it will give me the opportunity to fill this gap in. So if my hand goes at a strange place, please forgive me, back. But I'm going to fill this one in here with just some rounded arches or petal shapes and turn it into, well, I think a rock with a hole in with a flower inside it. That's what it looks like to me. I really am out of practice with my pens, honestly. State on that. Cool. I know it's going to take me a couple of days to build up my stamina for this. I know that I'm likely to have to either lie down in a darkened room, well, just lie down to ease a pain if it creeps up. So if you hear a lot of creaking and me shuffling, me stopping and rabbiting on, it's because I'm, easing things off a bit. So actually it's not too shabby, really. I am very hard on myself, and I will try to get around to answering the comments left that, people have left for me. As soon as I can sit for a longer period of time at a keyboard. I'm just desperate to draw. I miss drawing so much. So I've done that one. So let's have a look at, just going to draw some other shapes here. This one's beginning to bend round, isn't it? So let's have it bending round just that little bit more. So there's something completely different going on here. But I'm just drawing shapes and patterns, and it is just about me reconnecting with a pen and just practicing drawing lines and curves and holding the pen. It feels very strange. The last time I wasn't able to draw for this extended period of time, I actually went away for a week on holiday, and I did get some drawing done, but not a lot. And actually, no, I did go away for a few days where I got no drawing done at all, and I really seriously missed it. I'd taken sketchbooks and my Surface notebook, or Surface book, which is like my Surface Studio where I can draw on the screen. I just didn't get a chance to do anything. I was kept very busy for a number of days, which was lovely, but I just wanted to be able to sit and draw at times. Hey ho, such is life. So I did miss it, and it took me a little while to get back into drawing afterwards. So I'm getting some lovely kinds of shapes here. So I'm going to draw some lovely swooping lines here. These were all done mainly with wrist movements. This one, I'm having to move my arm. And that is the one that I'm most worried about in some ways, because whereas if I can just draw from my wrist and my fingers, I don't have to move my arm. But this I do. So I do think, let me have that going here, and I think I'll have it looking like it's just going up and over here as if it's going inside, and then perhaps I'll have it, let's have a look, where can I have it coming out of? Perhaps out of here. So if I choose to add colour or pattern, I can do that and have something very strange going on here. And again, perhaps there, that'll have to do. I got the idea there, if not the execution. But it's something that I can go into my sketchbook and I can refer to at a later time. Perhaps if I colour all of this in black, and I can perhaps just extend this just that little bit, and suddenly it does look like we've got something that's just disappearing down and in and out. We've got something lacing around. So that's quite fun. Okay, I just want to put a stopper at the bottom. I know you may not see everything here at the bottom, but we'll see what happens. So I'm going to add another layer to this. Look at that. I've missed completely the line here and here, both. But it'll do. It's practice, remember. And I'm working on getting my muscles back and my brain back into drawing mode. Okay, give me a mo. So, I'm just really lucky that I'm able to do this, I think. And I wasn't expecting to be able to do this for days and days yet. Not given the way I was this morning. That was just a piece of low-tack frog tape. I think I am just going to move my paper round to help me and hold it with my hand. So I'm not very happy here about this, but I think what I'll do is I'll turn these little notches into a bit of a feature, like there's a little notch there, like there's a deliberate pattern along the edge of this particular ribbon, perhaps. Like so. And perhaps I will just... Oops. I was going to put an edge around it. But obviously what the brain wants to do and what the hand and eye are doing are two entirely different things. But it's like riding a bike. So a friend reminded me that you never forget, but you may need to practice. There we go. Okay, so we've got some big swoopy shapes going on here. And I'd like some other kinds of shapes here. These smaller movements are better for me because I can rest my arm and let the board take the weight of my arm rather than my back, which is always a good thing at the moment. So, completely unexpected because, well, you know, I did not plan to pull a muscle. In fact, it's had me really fretting because I had a contract, deadline for a contract extended because I'd been ill with other things. And thought, great, can get to that. What happens? I do this. So, and I was really fretting that I wasn't going to get better quickly enough. But it may mean that for a couple of days now I don't do a lot, but I do some and build this back up, hopefully. It'd be nice to be able to drive again, actually. That's not been too good. And of course I'm incredibly grateful for whoever discovered aspirin. Aspirin is a really interesting story, if I remember rightly. The chemical name, the old-fashioned chemical name for aspirin is acetyl salicylic acid. Salicylic acid is a chemical that can be derived from the bark of willow trees. And willow tree bark has been used for an awful long time by people to relieve headaches and pain. You make a tea out of it or chew it and so on. But, you know, the downside of it is it's an acid, so it can give you sores and things like that, as can aspirin. As aspirin causes gastric ulcers and so on if you take a lot of it or take it for an extended period of time. But I can't remember the name of the scientist who was looking at this for a painkiller in the early days of, pharmaceuticals and so on, and discovered a way of making the salicylic acid more potent, more the dose more easily controlled by turning it from salicylic acid into acetyl salicylic acid. And that meant then you could provide pills with a certain dose in so that people didn't get ill and it was just enough, and all the stuff we take for granted today. But instead of using willow bark, I think, if I remember rightly, I could be wrong here, he extracted the salicylic acid from meadowsweet. And again, I could be wrong, but absolutely, one of those sort of like discoveries or developments that made such a difference to so many people. It's not just for its pain-killing properties, but it's an antipyretic, so it helps to reduce fever and inflammation as well. And nowadays we know that it's used for people who've had heart attacks to help stop blood clotting and creating another heart attack. I'm not sure if it's, which is, as a preventative, a tiny dose a day helps hugely. So I'm ever so grateful to it, although the tablets I've been taking have got a combination of aspirin and paracetamol in them. And paracetamol is some way safer. It doesn't cause the same gastric issues as aspirin, but there's a bigger chance of overdosing on it. So, but they're two that work well together, so thank goodness is all I'm going to say. Hopefully I'll sleep really well again tonight, because the last few nights I really haven't had much sleep. I've had very disturbed night's sleep, and that's not good. So, but I did sleep actually pretty well last night, which is a good thing. So that's why I've been missing in action, as it were. And if I could have magicked my back better, I would have. But sadly not so. I just hope I haven't lost too many subscribers in the process, or, well, you know, it's no great shakes one way or another. But thank you for those of you who've borne with me. This is actually turning out quite nice, and I'm surprised at how long I'm able to draw for. And I really do think the angle of the board and the way I'm sat is really helping. And I think perhaps I can take the damage to my back as a good sign that I may have been sitting poorly, because that might have been an issue, because I had been doing a lot of art, very focused, intense art. Been working on an illustrated or illuminated initial, very heavily influenced by medieval manuscripts, art and crafts, but done in an Angela kind of way. And I'd almost finished colouring it when I did this. So I'll be glad when I've got my coordination back to add the colour. And yet I will show you, but it's a gift for somebody, so I shall gift it to them first and then show you the results. It's taken me hours to do. Oh, and thank you to I'm sorry, I forgot to write your name. Remember your name, and writing things down has not been a thing for me this week. Who told me about the Ohuhu markers that have both have a brush tip and a bullet tip. I think I ordered some of them. So, but they arrived just after I'd hurt my back, and I never got a chance to open them and look at the colours and things. They're different to the other colours I've got. Some are the same, but some are different. And I also got a set of mid-toned markers, which have got colours in I definitely do not have. And I wish I'd waited until I had those before I tackled the arts and crafts thing. You know, the sort of like illuminated or decorated monogram. Because some of the colours there would have been absolutely stonkingly perfect. But hey-ho, there'll always be more art. Yeah. Now this really is just practicing things. I've got no idea what I'm doing here or why I'm doing anything. I just am. I'm just chatting and filling you in on, well, not a lot of stuff really, because I've not been able to do anything much. Paid a lot of Sid Meier's Civilization 5. Yeah, because I like strategy games, not shoot them up and blow them up. I don't play a lot of computer games, but I was able to lie down and do that. As I say, oops, there goes a ruler. Watching an awful lot of cooking on YouTube. Anti-Chef has had me in fits of giggles. He's a chap who is, you know, teaching himself how to cook basically, but with things like Julia Childs, who is a cordon bleu cook from the 60s, 70s, and using her book, and with some hilarious disasters, but also great successes at the same time. Obviously not my, you know, sort of things I would eat because I'm vegetarian. But certainly some interesting things there to try. And the other one, I can't remember the name of the channel, but it was Japanese food. And I certainly had a binge watch here again. There's a lot there that I wouldn't eat as it is because, you know, fish, meat and so on. But I do love vegetarian or vegan sushi. And but what got me, the first one I watched, was all kinds of pickled vegetables and how the pickles are made really quickly and just popped in the fridge overnight or for a couple of hours. And I'm thinking, I really need to try some of these because they sound absolutely delicious. So, but then there was some noodle stir fries, and I went, oh, wait until my arm's better. So when I'm fully better and I'm able to sit, I'm beginning to get sore now. I'm going to have a look at that again and make a list of things I need in shopping. I know I'll need to try and find sake and mirin at the very least. And dashi powder that doesn't have fish in it, that's just powdered seaweed, and vegetarian miso sauce. Eggs aren't my thing at the moment. I have a love-hate relationship with egg. You can tell I've been away from this, can't you? I'm wittering about rubbish. You get what you get today. Sometimes I absolutely really enjoy scrambled eggs or fried eggs or even hard-boiled eggs in a sandwich with salad cream. I don't like mayonnaise very much, it's slimy, but salad cream is quite sharp with vinegar and mustard, and I much prefer that. But it's not often, and I go off eggs very quickly, and even if there's a very eggy kind of cake or dessert or something, it turns my stomach. So eggs aren't a good thing, but blimey, there was some good stuff. So, and combinations of flavours, and thinking, oh, I really need to do this. So it's on my list of things. But no rush, because I'm not able to do much in the way of anything at the moment. Other than I'm just practicing drawing and chopsing at you. And I'm so, I don't know if you can tell from my voice, but I am so happy to be drawing, even if I am getting a bit uncomfortable. So I will be drawing this to a close very soon, possibly. Drawing this to a close. No pun was intended, honestly. I just realised what I said. But we'll see how I go on. So they've been absolutely interesting. And the other thing I have a particular interest in, crime, true crime. And I don't mean conspiracy theories or shock horror and things like that, but, you know, following some absolutely appalling things that have happened recently, but listening to people who know what they're on about talking about it, and interpreting things. And you know, scientists, so anything to do with science, forensic science, I'm going to have an interest in. And it's not for the macabre and the gory. I'm not interested in that, because there's enough ugliness in this world. But it's the science and how you work things out, and so on. It just fascinates me, always has. It was a part of science I used to love to teach, because I used to do part of the courses for 14 to 16-year-olds in the UK science scheme used to be forensic science. I'm not sure what it is now, but it was something I loved, and certainly the pupils, the students I taught, got to love it as well. And so it would lead to some very interesting conversations about all kinds of things, really. And I haven't lost that love of really practical applications of science. So, we are getting sore now. I'm just going to see if I can do a little bit more here. I do want to see, I'm just going to work a little bit on my finer control of my pen as I try to put some line weighting in, you know, making the lines a bit thicker, just to suggest we've got some kind of dimension going on here. Not so good there, but along the end there, but it'd be fine. But hopefully a good rest now tonight, and taking it easy tomorrow. My back and shoulder should be back, so you'll find out whether there's a video or not. If you want to know what's going on with me, I haven't posted on any of my social media because it's just been, I could do it on my phone, but phones are annoying at the best of times. I much prefer a proper keyboard. Yes, I know you can get Bluetooth keyboards. I need to remember to do that to link one to my phone. But on the community tab here, and there's always a link to the community tab in the descriptions underneath the video, so you can find that. And I do post things there like images. If I don't finish a picture in the video, then I'll post a picture of it when it's finished later on, so you can see, because sometimes it will take me an hour or two longer just to finish even a small drawing off. So rather than have you sit through all of that, then I do that while the video's uploading and processing, because hopefully I'll give you enough information and my thought processes to help you take care of things. So yeah, definitely starting to get a bit on the twisty side. Oh look, I'm beginning to get an eye appearing here. I haven't drawn eyes in artwork for a long time, but they do appear from time to time in a very stylised kind of way. Not a realistic way, but very stylised. And on the side it may not even look that way, but it happens. Okay, and the other thing I think I'd like to do is I do want to create a little section here somewhere, and here where I've made quite a thick line here and a bit of a boo-boo is the perfect place to just start to separate out some of these areas again. I think I will take on this side, because what it looks like then is almost like this line here tucks behind, and then if I go with this here, it really does look like this tucks behind this kind of this loop here. So that's a bit fun. And yet I've gone beyond my pencil lines, but you know me, that happens. The pencil lines are better guide. They're not as strict, some things for me to strictly adhere to. I think what I'd like to do here, and I am going to do this, hopefully, is I'm going to do I'll see if I can do something that's like the Zentangle pattern Scena. So I've drawn an S shape, and I have given my S shapes these little bulbous ends, and I'm going to start drawing lines that kind of loop out here, starting by having them looping from this side around. I could have this going this way and coming over a bit more, which I think I'm going to do just for a moment. Yeah, that's good. I've got a good angle. May not be the best angle for you to see. I don't know, I'm not doing too bad. So I'm just looping this up and over, and I'm just adding some extra darkness to the end of the line. And here, that line insisted on following along this one before spreading out a bit further down the line, and I'm fine with that as well. This is part of the fun of these kinds of patterns, is that you just never know what's going to happen. You just have to work with what comes out of them. This is already looking like this is all appearing from within some kind of hole or tunnel here, which is always the fun thing for me. And I love these kinds of patterns. So I'm not going to finish this in the video. It's quite a big sheet, but what I might do is just trim this down. So if you'd like to see this finished in the next video, leave a comment below, and I'll certainly do that. or the next video or another video, because I'm thinking it's sort of like the middle of November. We're coming up to that time of year for holidays and winter holidays and all kinds of other things. There's Thanksgiving coming up in America and the winter festivities elsewhere. But perhaps I need to think about things that have that kind of feel for you. Again, if that's something you think would be useful, then drop me a comment, let me know. And if I can bear typing, I might put a poll up in the community tab just to see what you think, or get a sort of consensus feel on that, though there'll be an awful lot of people doing such things. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to start with this. Now I could start by doing the same kind, in fact I think I might just carry on here just a little bit so that I'm getting this just beginning to come around here. For this section I think I'm going to leave here at the edge here. I think I'm going to leave that without joining these together, so there's a gap between them, because your eye will form that line there without you having to do anything. So I think what I'm going to do here is I'm going to start going around this one, but I'm going to bring it back on itself like so. And then the next one can come around like this. Why did I do that? Because it felt like it was the right thing to do. So there's the next one. Yep, there's a bit more gap between these, but these are what they are, and you work with them as they appear. That's what I think anyway. I'm sure there are people who are able to, you know, think ahead and think about how they want things to happen, but I quite like the surprise of going, oh, I wonder what's going to happen here. Oh, look, that line went there. So I'm moving it around a lot because I'm trying to find a comfortable position, because I've just about overdone it, I think. Half an hour, not bad. I did do about 10, 15, 20 minutes before I did this, so the fact I've done any today is a miracle, because I've not been able to. So thank you everybody for your good wishes as well. Okie dokes, we're getting there. This is the section I just want to finish. If I can. If I can't, I'm not going to. I'm not going to push it. But let's just have a look. Perhaps this way will work a bit better for me. Yeah. I have a tendency to prefer to push the pen away from me than pull it towards me as I draw anyway. Okay. So this looks almost like we've got an eddy going on here with liquid or of some kind swirling around here. It's actually turned out to be quite fun. Let me just move my arm. Okay. See if I can just, I'm going to try to finish this, but I may have to call myself to time. Right, now this one, I'm going to make this really chunky here, because I've got this funny little gap here, and I just think this is one where I can make use of that space, like so. Then what I'm going to do here is, around here, I'm going to start to spin the lines around here. As if they're spinning out of this point now, or this area. Split those two. I'm losing control now. Let's have a look. Tiny little bit left to do. You can see how the lines, well, I can see how my lines aren't as good. I'm getting lots of splotchy bits and I'm having to stop a lot. So this may be the very last line I draw today in this video. In fact, today, full stop. Now I could leave that with that little bit of white there, but I'm going for drama. And I'm also going to add some weight here. And so I've got this amazing, crazy space going on there. Let me just have a look and see. I will scan this in and put a picture of it on the community space. I may, as this is processing, do a bit more drawing. Depends whether I can. I need to shake my shoulder out and do something here. Oh, God. Why don't I just learn to leave things alone? But we're beginning to get some interesting things going on here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say thank you very much for joining me. It's nice to be back drawing. 40 minutes nearly is, well, it's less than 40 minutes because I did blather on for a bit at the beginning. So about half an hour or so of drawing is more than enough for me at the moment. I've reached my limit, but it's lovely to be back. And sometimes it's just nice to draw. In my case, just for the pleasure of drawing, and there's a lot of very familiar shapes here and the way I like my hand to move. But it's also really good practice for me starting to get that hand-eye coordination back. I know there are artists online, both on YouTube and elsewhere, who show you drawing exercises, how to practice different strokes and patterns and things like that. I just turn it into let's draw something and use all of these things. So please look after yourselves, have fun. I hope you have a go at drawing this along with me with this. And again, let me know either in the comments or on the community section whether you'd like to see me complete this. I am going to cut this down though. Should have done it first. Yeah, didn't think of it. And see what happens. And I'll add colour. I'm likely to use alcohol markers because they're my thing. So take care and I'll see you again soon. Hopefully tomorrow, back willing. So take care. Ta-ra for now. Bye. Hoil.